Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 851st meeting, Tuesday, July 19th, 2022. Please note, if you wish to be heard at this meeting, please sign the speaker list provided on the City of Laurel's website or contact staff. The chairman reserves the right to limit the amount of time each speaker has for each agenda item. The qualifications of the members of the commission, the staff of the commission, and any consultants used are on file with the city and are hereby made a part of each and every application heard today. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the commission are also made a part of each and every application. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedence for any other application. I just want to go over a few reminders. To first, identify yourself when speaking each time. This is imperative for the record. When done speaking, please use the mute button on your computer or phone. This will help eliminate background noise. And second, if we experience a technical problem, the meeting will be suspended until the issue is resolved. If unable to resolve the issue in a timely manner, the meeting shall be postponed. Once the issue is corrected, I will call for another roll call, and then we will resume the meeting. After the staff presents the report, I will ask the commissioners to request a motion. Just want to remind everybody that we will not have a meeting in August. Our next meeting after tonight will be September the 20th. And before we call the roll, Monta, would you like to introduce our new planner for the city?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good evening, HDC and fellow board members. Tonight we have the newest addition to the ECD family, Mr. Shahid Badu. He's our planner one, and from this point on, it'll be a familiar face to you guys, Mr. Shahid Badu, and we welcome him and thank you for having him tonight.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Cocoon?
Here.
Councilmember Cole?
Here.
Ms. McSaney?
Here.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Here.
Ms. Frazier?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Schweitzer? You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Brooke. Next item is open discussion of the minutes for the regular HDC meeting for June 21st. Are there any comments, questions, or corrections? Seeing that there's no comments or questions, can I entertain a motion?
This is Ms. McSaney. I move we approve the minutes for the regular HDC meeting held on June 21st, 2022.
I'll second. This is Ms. Lubinecki. I'll second them.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. McSaney and a second by Ms. Lubinecki to approve the minutes as presented. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes.
Councilmember Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
I'll abstain as I was not present for that meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Okay, moving on to our first agenda item is for HDC 2022-0160 for 927 Montgomery Street. Would the staff please present the report to the commission?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair and fellow commission members. This is Joshua Mitchum, ECD staff. I'll be giving this report as well as all the other reports that we have on the agenda today. The applicant is seeking Historic District Commission retroactive approval to perform several exterior alterations to the property. They have received a stop work order for replacing the roof and gutters of the property. And the applicant states that the roof was showing signs of leaking and was not aware that that HDC approval was needed. The applicant has replaced the roof of the property and it has changed from a light gray colored 3-tab style to dark gray colored Georgetown Gray architectural shingles. As far as gutters, the applicant has replaced the gutters of the property and they have installed Amerimax 6-inch by 120-inch white K style gutters. Staff recommends that the Historic District Commission retroactively approve certificate number 2022-0160. That is the conclusion of my report, and the applicant, Mr. McCarl, should be on the line to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh, for your report. This seems to be a recurring problem where residents in the city either don't know or don't care that they need to get approval before any exterior work is done on their property by the HDC and I guess in some cases with the Planning Commission, but primarily with our body, the HDC. Mr. McWilliams, were you, obviously you stated you were not aware of that. How long have you been in the city?
Yes, I've been here 36 years. So I apologize that I did not know that we needed a permit for the roof replacement or the gutter replacement.
Yeah, the city of Laurel, Raleigh had historic district, probably more than that,
Oh yeah, I've gone before for paint for the district, but I had not known that the roof or the gutters were part of that. So I apologize for that. And Brooke did bring me up to speed.
Okay. Yeah. Any changes to the exterior, even changes that you're making in kind, need to get staff approval. But yeah, any work that you're doing outside, now planting, trees, fencing, driveway, anything would have to come for our body. But anyway, I appreciate you being here tonight. Is there any questions for the applicant from the commissioners or any comments from the commissioners?
Yes, Ms. Lubinecki, I just have a comment of regret for the applicant. I mean, I assume a roof costs some, I don't know what your roof costs are, but I'm assuming it was probably $7,000 to $10,000 at least to replace a roof. And unfortunately, that means that you cost yourself, let's say it was $10,000, I'm just guessing, that you cost yourself $500 that you could have gotten back from your work. And so that's kind of the downside of this for you, I'm afraid.
Right now, I fully understand that. Brooke told me that. Yeah, I guess, again, I did not think the historic district was still around. I've dealt with it maybe 20 years ago. I think you're over, Mr. I'm sorry, Mr. Robert, is that your last name? Not sure.
Cluckoon.
Cluckoon. And yeah, I don't know. Now I do know, so I'm sorry about that. And probably just need, it wouldn't hurt to send out a letter from the historic district to make sure everybody is aware of that in town.
Good advice.
Yes, this is Ms. McSaney. I believe the historic district is also explained in the booklet that the city, sends out through Public Works and, puts on every doorknob, doorstep, in the city. Just so you're aware, if you want to look things up.
Okay, is that tied in with the calendar each year?
Yes.
Okay,
And spread the word to your neighbors.
thank you, I will.
If there's no further comments or questions, can I entertain a motion for this application?
This is Ms. Lubinecki. I'd like to make a motion that we approve HDC 2022 0160 for 927 Montgomery Street.
This is Ms. Frazier. I second that motion.
Okay, Brooke, I have a motion from Ms. Lubinecki and a second by Mrs. Frazier to approve HDC 2022-0160. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes,
Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes,
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you all very much, and Brooke, thank you for all your help. Appreciate it.
You're very
You all
welcome.
have a nice evening. You
as well.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to HDC 02022-0161 for 608 Montgomery Street. Josh, would you like to present the report to the commissioners?
Yes, sir. So yes, again, Joshua Mitchum, ECD staff, and I'm giving the report for 608 Montgomery Street. The applicant is seeking HDC approval to perform multiple exterior renovations. The applicant is proposing to install a new driveway and a new fence. For the driveway installation, the applicant is proposing a new 756 square foot concrete driveway in the front yard of the property. The proposed driveway will have a 4-inch slab with a 6x6 wire mesh installed on 4-inch gravel. For the fence, the applicant is proposing to install a new 6-foot tall fence in the left side and rear yard of the property. And the proposed fence will be composed of 4x4 pressure treated wood with a gate. Staff recommends that the Historic District Commission approve certificate number 2022-1061. That is the conclusion of my report, and the applicant, Ms. Mora, should be on the line to handle any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Any comments or questions for the applicant?
This is Ms. Lubinecki. Looking at this property, it's a very narrow lot that the applicant is proposing to put her concrete driveway in. And in terms of just not overwhelming the property, because it's a duplex and both of them are relatively narrow, and this will take up the entire left side of the property completely. I would like to ask the applicant if she would consider putting concrete strips so that there's a piece of green in between for the driveway as it goes up to the house. That would aesthetically certainly improve the look of that much concrete, to say nothing of be more environmentally friendly.
Yes, we can do that. But we're gonna do a similar driveway like the neighbor next door that she did.
Next door.
The
Yeah.
neighbor on the other side of the duplex?
The unit of the duplex, our neighbor, they do have a driveway already. So it's gonna be kind of similar, the same.
That driveway, well, the driveway for the property next door, but not your actual neighbor, right? Is
No,
that-
my actual neighbor, the two properties together, the one that's joined to us, they
it's a
already have
duplex.
a driveway.
The other side of the duplex does have a concrete driveway,
Yes, they do.
no strips.
Right, but that doesn't mean that that's a good solution necessarily. And my question to the applicant is, would he consider putting in strips?
Yes, we can.
May I make a comment? This is Ms. Frazier. It's it seems that 18 feet is not quite wide enough to park two cars next to each other. Were you planning on doing that or just one car in a row?
Only one car.
Okay, then the normal width for a driveway of that size would be 9 to 12 feet, which would allow parking and room to open the doors, etc. Do you think you could reduce it to 9 feet or 12 feet? And that would leave like at least a 6-foot strip that the water could then drain through.
Okay, you
Well,
said 9,
Fraser,
12 feet,
if
12 feet wide?
12 feet wide instead of 18.
Ms. Fraser, but if we're talking about him putting two strips,
That would be good too.
well, that's what he just agreed to do. He agreed to do the strips instead of just making the solid thing 9 feet. So do we think that the strips would be preferable so that there's greenery in the middle in addition to a little bit on the side, which I would recommend also, but.
This is Ms. McSaney. I concur with Ms. Lubinecki. I think the strips would be much better for the look of the property and the environment and the neighborhood.
Mr. Cocoon, can I interject something?
Certainly, go ahead, Monty.
Strips are not a requirement in our code. Now, are you making a suggestion? Because that is not a requirement. And I know that you noted that for the environment that you would like him to do it. But per our code, strips are not something that is required or is mandated to be done for a driveway.
We understand that, Mr. Burrow, but in terms of the aesthetics for the historic district, a strip adds to the aesthetics and preserves more of a historic nature. So yes, it's not currently required, but if the applicant is willing to do that, I think we should be encouraging him to do that.
Okay, so you're suggesting instead of, now are you asking him to do it or just you suggesting or you would like for him to do it? Because I want to make it clear because he's proposing a driveway and you're kind of making it seem like you want strip, but per the code, he's not required to do that.
I think I originally couched my request, would he be willing to do that, which implies that he's not required. So, and the gentleman very kindly has said he would be willing to do the strips. And I think that we think that's a preferable approach for any applicant, not just this applicant, but any applicant. And we encourage applicants to do that, even though it's not absolutely required. And I would hope that the city would be behind that also.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I just have a question. I guess this would be for Monta. Looking at the picture right now, there is no cutout in the curbing. Would the city require the applicant to purchase a bond to do that cutout? Or what would he have to do to be able to put a cutout?
I'm sorry if I can interject, Chair, Mr. Chair. The applicant actually had already applied for the requisite right-of-way permits, curb cut permits. We just intercepted the permit beforehand and let him know that he had to do HDC. So all of this will be reviewed by DPW, and he'll be able to make the requisite requirements for that.
Good. Okay. Just was making sure. I didn't see a cutout.
This is Councilman Cole. I have a question on the driveway, not from the Historic District Commission perspective, but on driveways in general. I know our current code says that it cannot exceed a certain amount of the green space percentage. And at the current applicant's size, it would definitely get rid of the required green space.
So that's a calculation that we would make when we're doing the actual formal driveway permit. I believe in this zone, it would be, had it up a second ago here. It would be 65%. So what we would do is during the process of reviewing the general driveway permit, if we found that it would exceed green space, we would get back to the applicant and let him know what cuts they would have to make in order to meet the driveway at this time, but we haven't reviewed it yet. We just told him he needs to get HDC approval and let them look at it before we do that.
Mr. Cole, I think if he actually put strips in, that would probably easily mean that he didn't exceed the requirement, which would make his life easier, I would think.
That is what I wanted to make sure that we have enough green space. Do we have any questions on the fence, or can we make a motion to approve this?
What exactly are we approving?
I was just.
So the applicant is seeking approval for the installation of the driveway and the fence.
Can we ask him to reduce the width of the driveway or to put in strips? That either of those options would be acceptable.
So are you speaking towards like the width in order to do green space compliance? You're talking about what you were referring to earlier with the cars and getting out and all that, just so we're clear.
It would help both.
Okay, gotcha.
I think we're confusing poor applicant at some point.
Yes.
So this is Miss McSaney. I'd like to move that we approve strips for the driveway, 2 concrete strips, and the fence as presented.
This is Ms. Lubanecki. I would like to, Ms. McSaney, is that a formal approval for the application?
Yes.
Okay, and let me just give the applicant a moment to respond. Mr. Herrera, you're okay with what was proposed as a change to your application?
Yes, in reference to the strips that you will require, do we still need, but the right of way to the street, it will have to be concrete, right? The straight concrete. We don't need to follow the strips all the way outside to the street.
I'm sorry, you would still have to apply for the cutout, and that would be in concrete.
Okay.
Concrete apron, and then that would lead past the sidewalk into your strips, your concrete strips for your driveway. So it would not be a solid concrete pad. It would be 2 strips that your tires of your vehicle would ride on.
Okay. Do you have an example of how it will look? Because I'm not familiar with that.
I can send you some examples. This is the Secretary HDC Coordinator speaking.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, so we can approve the application with these changes, and then if the applicant wanted to come back before us after he reviews those, then he can. Otherwise, he can go ahead and do the work. So that being said, I have a motion by Ms. McSaney and a second by Ms. Lubanecki that we approve HDC 2022-0161 with the amendment that it's going to be strips, concrete strips for the driveway. The fence would be installed as presented. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Ms. Lubanecki,
Yes.
Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And I'd like to, this is Ms. Lubanecki, I'd just like to thank the applicant for being willing to change his application and incorporate the strips. I know it was a new concept for him and it's much appreciated. And the neighborhood will appreciate it also.
Thank you. To you too. Thank you.
Okay. Our next agenda item is HDC 2022-0163 for 317 4th Street. The applicant will be using the online prompter to message us. So we'll have to ask him questions through that. Would Josh please present the report to the commission?
Yes, sir. Again, this is Joshua Mitchum, ECD staff. I'm giving the report for, 317 4th Street. The applicant is seeking Historic District Commission approval to replace the existing front porch flooring of the property. And the applicant states that the current flooring has greatly deteriorated and has become unsafe. And the applicant is proposing to replace the wood flooring, which is 6 feet by 12 feet in green color. And they're proposing to replace it with composite wood flooring of the same size in brown oak color. Staff recommends that the Historic District Commission approve certificate number HDC-2022-0163. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Any comments or questions?
I do have a quick comment. If you're running the boards to the edge without any trim, you can see that the indentations that reveal quite quickly that it's plastic. So if he could plan on a border of some kind to cover that up, that would be good.
Is the applicant, yep. Okay. I don't know if everybody's reading this. I'll read it for the record. Should be able to do that.
Great.
Okay, with that being said, can I entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve HDC 2022-0163 for 4th Street.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Brooke, I have a motion from Ms. Lubinecki and a second by Councilman Cole to approve HDC 2022-0163 with the amendment that the porch will have a border on it to conceal the cuts of the composite board. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Ms. McSeany,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Good luck. Okay, moving on to HDC 2022-0165 for 330 Prince George Street. Josh, would you please present the report to the commission?
Yes, good evening again. Joshua Mitchum, ECD staff. The applicant is seeking Historic District Commission approval to perform several exterior renovations to the property located at 330 Prince George Street. The applicant is proposing to install an egress window and replace the existing roof. The applicant is proposing to install an egress window in the front bedroom on the right side of the house, and the proposed window measures 20 inches by 24 inches. The applicant is also proposing to replace the existing steel roof of the property with fiberglass shingles, and the color of the proposed shingle replacement will be black material, changing from the existing red metal shingles, and the applicant will also be replacing the gutters and downspouts. Staff recommends that the Historic District Commission approve certificate number 2022-0165. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Any comments or questions for the applicant?
I do have a question. What is an egress window?
If I may, an egress window, and the applicant can speak to this if he's online as well. But an egress window is typically one that is used in the event if there's an emergency that they'll be able to get out without using a primary or secondary entrance on the property.
And it's also code that the bedrooms have at least one window that meets egress. So either a firefighter can get through the window with his apparatus, or the occupant can get out the same window because it's of a certain size.
So 20 by 24 meets that requirement?
I'm sorry, say again, ma'am?
Does 20 by 24 meet that requirement?
No, that's just one sash size. 2 sashes would make it larger than that.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's just barely larger. It's barely larger than what windows are there now. Because of this particular bedroom has the front windows that are on the front of the facade, we didn't want to change the front window because we only need one. We didn't want to mess up the architectural integrity of the front and the look. So we're going to place it in the side. So aesthetically, it'll look nice. It's not going to make the front look all out of whack.
That sounds good.
I had a question about the gutters, and actually we've been back and forth to confirm that you are going to do gutters because there was no example of the gutters in the presentation materials.
Yes, ma'am. I spoke with Brooke today. She said that it was a requirement that was asked to bring forth as kind of late today. So I didn't have, I wasn't able to send anything over. We really weren't going to change the gutter. We're going to replace the roof, but the gutters were going to stay in place. Now, if we find that there's an issue of dry rot and it's the fascia board is pulling away, we will have to replace that. And at that time, we probably put new 5-inch K gutter, color white, in its place.
That's the kind of gutter that you were asking for also for approval in today's application. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions or comments for the applicant or staff, can I entertain a motion for this application?
This is Ms. McSaney. I move we approve HDC 2022-0165 for 330 Prince George Street as submitted.
Commissioner Davis, I will second that motion.
Okay, Brooke, I have a motion by Ms. McSaney and a second by Mr. Davis that we approve HDC 2022-0158 as presented with, I'm sorry, 0165 for 330 Prince George Street. Getting ahead of myself here. With just the amendment that the gutter style, if they do end up replacing it, will be the K style guttering. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
You as well. Thank you. Okay,
Bye-bye.
now getting to HDC 2022-0158 for 329.5 Main Street. Josh, would you like to present the report to the commission?
Yes, sir. Good evening again, Joshua Mitchum, ECD staff. The applicant is seeking retroactive Historic District Commission approval to install a window decal sign at the property located at 329.5 Main Street. The applicant has installed a 21-inch by 47.5-inch window decal sign on the front facade of the WHG Discount Outlet storefront. The decal sign has the text WHG Outlet Discount brand names for less, along with several of the items offered in the store in orange, green, black, and primarily white color. Staff recommends that the Historic District Commission retroactively approve certificate number HDC 2022-0158. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Just one question for staff. The signage that's there, that doesn't exceed what is allowed by the city?
Yes, I spoke with Ms. Lubinecki about this as well. So the city recognizes window decal signs when they're permanently affixed as flat wall signs. And flat wall signs have a ratio in the CV zone of 1 square foot of signage per 1 lineal foot of the building facade. So using that calculation, it is within the allowances for the signs. It just looks really, I guess, compressed since it's like one on top of each other, but it is within that ratio.
Okay.
When you calculated the ratio there, you did just do his one property, right? Not the whole windows for the whole, because he has that and like the door, and that's all, right?
No, yeah, so we were taking it as the front facade, the entire I guess the building material facade, like we do all the other take. Is that the building right there? Yes, because they don't have any space to put a regular, I guess, like channel lettuce, for instance, to put on there. So we're taking into account that space as well.
Okay, and the applicant's with us.
Yes.
Okay, is that Mr. Grant?
It would be, I believe, Claudia Grant and a Jermaine Grant.
Okay, and just for the record, and that you know, anything that you do to the outside of the building, you're in the historic district, you have to get HDC approval before any work is done, signage or color of the paint of the building or anything.
May I comment on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you for highlighting that. We were aware of that, and when we initially called to find out what was necessary. However, our application was just automatically approved. And then afterwards, we were told that that wasn't the normal procedure and it should have gone through the HDC first before it was approved. So that was where the issue came up. But we appreciate you guys considering approving it.
Okay, so when you got your UNO, nothing was mentioned to you about being in the historic district and signage would have to come before the historic commission?
Initially, we were told that everything has to get approved before the actual signage was approved to be installed. And so we did the process. We anticipated that we needed to go to a meeting with the historic district. However, we got an email that we did not expect to say your sign has been approved. And so we thought, okay, well, I guess because of the COVID or whatever the case was, they changed how they did it. So we just assumed that that meant everything was approved. Afterwards, we were contacted to be and told that, you know, your sign is not it's not approved for historic district. And then we did that application as well.
Okay. All right, any other comments for the applicant or the staff?
This is Ms. McSaney. I move we approve HDC 2022-0158 for 329.5 Main Street.
This is Councilman Cole. I'll second that motion.
Okay, Brooke, we have a motion by Ms. McSaney and a second by Councilman Cole for HDC 2022-0158. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Coogan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
You as well. Thank you. Okay, the next agenda item is HDC 2022-0145 for 525 through 695 Main Street. Would Josh please present the report to the commission?
Yes, the applicant is seeking Historic District Commission approval to install 2 new signs along the Productive Place properties, as well as an exterior spotlight. The applicant is proposing to install 2 freestanding signs. One will be placed on Main Street near the existing Red Hot and Blue restaurant. The second sign will be placed at the entrance of 535 Main Street. The design of the proposed signs is the exact same design as the one previously approved by the HDC, and both will measure 48 inches by 26 inches with the text Patuxent Place Apartments against a beige, purple, and gray background. The applicant is also proposing to install the exterior spotlights that shine on the existing building numbers for the properties located at 25 through 695 Main Street. The staff recommends that the Historic District Commission approve certificate number 2022-0145. And I'm looking to see if Mr. Manesh is on the line, but I don't believe I see him at the moment. But yes, that concludes the reading of my report.
Thank you, Josh. Any comments? We can't ask any questions if the applicant's not on the line, but any comments about this application?
I have comments for maybe staff can answer this on the signs that are on the screen right now. It says that that's for building numbers, but they all say Patuxent Place Apartments in the presentation. Will that be a street or will that be more advertisements for the apartments?
I'm looking on the application here that was submitted here. I believe there was a change here. Let me see if that's the same as what I was looking for.
Yeah, the applicant's actually
Yeah.
traveling, so he can't be on, but he was gonna have somebody, I think the property manager, be on tonight, but I don't think I see her on.
Yes. Yeah. What we have here is just for the freestanding sign, similar to the one up front. I'm not sure if
So-
he's referring to using it as just a render, as like a render to see like what it would look like. But at this moment, I can look that up once we convene with him.
So what we're being asked, this is Mrs. Frazier. So what we're being asked to approve are 2 additional freestanding signs and lights for the building numbers, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
My one question was, and looking at this, when I drove past it, there's already a big red, hot, and blue sign near red, hot, and blue. And it wasn't clear where the freestanding sign was going to go in relationship to that. I mean, is it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the application says it's near red, hot, and blue. And so,
I'm sorry, go ahead. I think it was Ms. McSeany.
No, it was Ms. Frazier. I
Oh,
think the
Ms. Frazier.
application said it was going to the left of the red, hot, and blue sign.
a lot of sign right there.
Plus, where that would be to the left of the red, hot, and blue sign, there's sort of like a ravine. So hopefully no one will choose to turn in there to look for an apartment.
I have some, because the rendering doesn't really show us where one of those signs is, the red, hot, I'm referring specifically to the red, hot, and blue sign, not the other signs or the sign with the light or the numbers with the light. Is it possible for us to approve all but that one sign and have the applicant come back to us with an idea of how that is actually going to look? I mean, I am concerned because the red, hot, and blue sign is there, plus the ravine, that we're ending up with sort of a messy sign look that neither of them look together, look great together. I mean, it looks, without seeing where he's planning to place that one. Split up the application base.
Yeah, so Josh, you don't know if they're going to do away with the red, hot, and blue sign, do you?
No, so a lot of this would be handled once they submit the formal zoning permit, similar to the driveway permit earlier, or the driveway application. A lot of the kinks of like placement and compliance with, setbacks, that would be ironed out once we get the actual permit in front of us. But, they have to get approval first for just the overall design and aesthetics, and then we'll allow them to proceed through the process with the, placement and such.
Right, but it's not just aesthetics, it's how it fits in the context of the historic district. And without knowing where the sign is going to be, it's difficult to know if it's going to adversely affect the aesthetic, the look of the historic district. So for that particular sign, I would feel more comfortable if the applicant would come back with an idea of how that is going to be in relationship. I mean, he seems to be good with Photoshop and stuff to move something over and give us an idea of what that could look while we approve his other signage so he could move forward.
Yes, we can get in contact with Mr. Manesh or his property manager, and they tend to get back to us rather quickly. So
I still have questions on the spotlight installation. I see the two different models that are there. And it says that they're going to light up the building numbers, but when you look through the emails, they're referencing the black hinges. Which are they lighting up, the building number or signs on the black hinges?
as indicated on the application, he just says that it was going to highlight the building identification numbers. This was something that I was hoping he could be able to answer, but if not, we can just again collect all that information for you.
And it's hard for us to approve it if we don't know what we're talking about.
This
Yeah,
is
his application says the spotlights are for the building numbers.
So there's nothing he's adding to the sign holders. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we approve HDC 2022-0145 for all the items requested, with the exception of the sign that's going to be placed near the existing red, hot, and blue sign, pending more information from the applicant. And I have a question for staff. Since we don't meet in August, it seems unfair to fully hold up the applicant. Is there some way that we can rule on that one item, or is he going to have to wait till September?
I believe Monte, I don't know if you want to speak to maybe speaking with Rob tomorrow about this.
Yeah, Ms. Luminecki and fellow chair, if you would like, I think it may be best if you approve what you can tonight, and then we can come back and ask the applicant to show a rendering or a new position for the lighting, and we can come back before the next meeting in September. If you guys are good with that, we can give you new renderings and show you new location, ask your questions before the next meeting. If you guys are okay with that, we can do that. But also, if you're okay that him to come in September, that's up to you guys also. But if you want to approve what you can tonight, we can get and talk to the applicant, get clarity on the questions and concerns you have before the next meeting. And if you're okay with it, we can send it to you guys for approval, and we can have that before the next meeting in September.
So would the application be contingent on pending all of it? I mean, the red, hot, and blue area and the lighting pending approval by the HDC members before the next meeting? I'm a little confused on how that would work then.
No, it don't have to be pending. If you tonight want to separate and approve the other items, that's okay. We can do that. And then we can separate the items that you have questions with and show you guys before the next meeting. If you're okay, we can approve it before the next meeting. If not, we can go to that next meeting and he can explain everything and clarify everything to you guys in the next meeting. So it's really up to you. If you want to separate tonight what you can approve, and then before the next meeting, if things have not been cleared up, he can come present himself again.
Thank you.
And I believe the
I think right
applicant would
now-
actually have to,
I
he
think
would
right
have to
now-
reapply, because anything that's tabled has to be voted on within 45 days.
Right. So what we can do, we can make an amendment to this application And right now, I think the only issue we have is for the 48 by 26-inch sign that's going to be located on the west end of the building up towards Red Hot and Blue. Councilman Cole, correct me if I'm wrong, was your question answered about the lighting, or do you still have issue with the lighting?
My question was answered about the lighting, as long as it is only lighting the building numbers and not what is hanging from the brackets.
Okay, so I think we can make a motion that we approve, the parts that we want to approve. We can amend it to leave off the one sign. He would have to come back before us in September to get approval for that.
And also, if I could also clarify, he submitted 2 different types of lighting that he liked. Is there a preference from the commission of which ones you prefer him to use?
I think the second one is more,
This one?
That one,
Yeah.
Ms. McSaney.
yes, Ms. Lubinecki, yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
So this is Ms. McSaney. I'd like to move that we approve HDC 2022-0145 for 525 to 695 Main Street as presented, except for the sign that near the Red Hot and Blue corner.
I'll second that.
And you just want to amend that the lighting would be the cone style lighting.
Yes, thank you for catching that.
Okay. All right, Brooke, we have a motion from Ms. McSaney and a second by Ms. Lubinecki for HDC 2022-0145. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes,
Councilmember Cole,
Yes,
Ms. Frazier,
Yes,
Mr. Davis, Mr. Davis,
I apologize. Yes.
thank you. Mr. Cocoon,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Just want to make one additional comment that doesn't necessarily reflect the application, but one of the original owners to Patuxent Place just recently passed away, Jerry Cooper. So, it was groundbreaking what they did, I think, back in the 80s when they built that facility, and I think it's been a great addition to Main Street. So. Okay, now we have staff approvals. I think everybody's seen all those. There's no questions or comments for that. Seeing that there's no questions or comments, any other new business?
I have a quick question, and this will be actually for going back to when we were approving the minutes. I was just glancing at them and I realized Mr. Davis said that he couldn't approve them because he was not present at the meeting on June 21st, but the minutes actually list him as a commissioner present.
I can revise that. Thank you.
Okay.
I believe he came in late, correct?
No. This is Miss McSaney. Mr. Schweitzer came in late.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I was absolutely out of town during that session, so it wasn't available.
So this is Miss McSaney. I have a question about, I guess, window coverings. And I don't know who the person is to answer this, but, we have rules governing the amount of signage covering a window. What about when a business covers the entire window from the inside with something like black? Is that allowed?
Hi, Ms. McSinney, this is Josh Mitchell from ECD staff. So I researched this. One of the, sometimes businesses would either tint or put a film over their window. I guess that would obscure views from the outside. Currently, as the ordinance reads, the only types of, I guess, businesses that have it codified in the ordinance that have to have some level of transparency are certain uses such as convenience stores, liquor stores, or pool and gambling halls. And at this time, there is nothing that has just base regulations for a level of transparency. It's something that the police could suggest if they were to come to say like planning commissions or some other body. But at this time, it's not strictly regulated. However, that is something that we are looking into, adding to the next round of code amendments. So that's definitely something that we can look into.
Okay, thank you, because I recall that it was discussed with Rise Up Nutrition in particular. And since then, there are 2 new food establishments on Main Street that have their windows completely blacked out, I guess is the right word. So I was curious. Thank you. And then I guess I'll move that we adjourn.
Okay, have a good rest of the summer, and we'll talk to you in September, if not before then.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks all.